Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV. Today I'm asking a question. How balanced is your reading diet? Are you ready? Well, let's go. All right. We all know that we need a balanced diet, right? We should eat the right kinds of stuff to have a balanced diet because we know that what you put in impacts your health. Right? But have you ever thought about your reading diet? Because what you put in impacts your thinking and your skills. So let's just think about this for a second. I don't need to go into the whole dietary minimum requirements and all that stuff, but you know that what we read and what we put into our brain is like the protein, the vitamins, and the minerals that our brains need. So the question is, are we putting the right inputs in? Right? So I want to ask you some questions about this and get you thinking about it, because just like we know that we should eat right, I think we should read right too. Okay? So here are some questions about your inputs. Question number one is, what is on your stack? Like, you have a stack of stuff, right? It may be a digital stack of the audio things you want to listen to and the podcasts and all that stuff. But you also have a stack of the blog posts that you need to read or want to read. But you've got a stack of magazines and books too, right? Like, first of all, if you don't have a stack, that's a possible problem. But just look at your stack. How much do you have? Because just like your pantry has a bunch of stuff, you want to have some things so you can pick maybe what you want right now, what's going to taste good right now, right? Second question is, though, do you have a stack? And if you don't have a stack, I'm suggesting you ought to start having one. Now, yours don't have to be as unruly and necessarily as large and messy as mine, but you need to have a stack. Now, once you've got your stack, the question is, how balanced is it? Like, if everything on your stack is sort of the National Enquirer and People Magazine and TMZ type stuff, now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's not a very balanced stack. The question is, if you look at that stack, is it going to be a healthful reading diet? That's the question, right? Now, not just about what's on the stack, because you could be saying, the reason it's on the stack, Kevin, is because I haven't read it, right? So the next question is, what have you read in the last week? And if you can't answer that question for me readily, then one of two things is going on. You haven't read much, or it didn't have much impact, right? Now, if you read a lot, like I do, you might not be able to come up with all of it, but you ought to be able to say, well, I read some things on this, and I read some things on this, and I read some things on this. Like, I can certainly tell you what I read last night, because it was last night, right? I shouldn't have too much trouble remembering that, right? So what have you read in the last week? And if you can't really answer that question, think about how much you're reading and is it enough? But also maybe you want to start keeping a bit of a list, right? Last question. How do all of these answers connect to your goals? Right? Like, our health goal would be to be healthy and to live a long life and to not have aches and pains. You have some goals for where you want to head in your life and your career, right? So the question is, how does your reading stack match up to that? Is there a connection? Like, there's no problem with having reading as a hobby. I love to read, and it's okay to read a little light reading and have a little guilty pleasure, just like it's okay to eat a Snickers bar. But life doesn't live on Snickers bars alone, and we can't only read the light fare that we might find enjoyable if we're serious about our goals. So we need to put stuff into our reading diet that gives us the learning that we want and need. How balanced is your reading diet? It's a question worth thinking about. Let me close with today's tweet. How closely does what you're reading map to your learning goals? You know, I wrote an article the ideas in this video, I wrote in an article a number of years ago. And I found that writing recently on my blog, and you can certainly go to my blog to find other things I've written over time. But the way to find out what I'm writing each week new is to be a part of our Monday morning newsletter called Unleashing Your Remarkable Potential. And every week there's a new article for me and a bunch of other things to help engage your brain, be a part of your reading stack, to help you reach your learning goals, to inspire you, and to give you a kickstart for your week. It's called Unleashing Your Remarkable Potential. We'd love to have you join us. You can subscribe from the links right here on this page. And I'll be back next week with another episode of Remarkable TV.